All right, guys, welcome back to another Battlefield 2042 news video. And today we've got a lot of stuff to discuss. We got a brand new playlist update for All Out Warfare that brings exposure breakthrough 24/7. It is officially week 2 of season 1 0 hour. We got some new weekly missions to talk about. We also got a brand new update for Sundance's scatter grenade that we're going to talk about pretty soon, and so much more news for this video. So definitely stick around to the end because you guys are not going to want to miss out. Hey, what's up, everyone? Wes here. Welcome back to another video. And to get started, we're going to talk about the brand new playlist update for All Out Warfare that is set to drop tomorrow. So according to the Battlefield Direct Communication Twitter, they said tomorrow we'll rotate our All Out Warfare playlist to support the start of 0 hour week 2. Exposure Breakthrough 24/7 will join Exposure Conquest 24/7 as well, which means that Exodus Conquest will be taking a few weeks off. They also dropped details in the thread below that we're going to talk about right now. So the Battlefield Direct Communication on Twitter said that you've been asking us to make it easier to play Exposure on Breakthrough. So starting tomorrow, this dedicated playlist will be live alongside Exposure Conquest 24/7. Continuing on the thread, they said that Exodus Conquest will take a break to make room for Exposure Breakthrough 24/7. However, if you're a fan of playing through our classic maps while progressing with 2042 specialists, Flashback Conquest and Infantry Conquest will be live in Battlefield Portal this week as featured experiences. So even though Exodus Conquest will not be available on the All Out Warfare menu, you can actually jump into Portal and still be able to play on the OG maps on Flashback Conquest, which should be going live sometime this week. My guess is likely Thursday we will get Flashback Conquest, but we will just have to wait and see. Furthermore, the biggest question that I have right now is whether or not this is actually going to be Breakthrough 128 or if it's going to be Breakthrough 64. Now, I personally would love to play it on Breakthrough 128, but I can understand why they would do it 64. That's been what they've been doing for Breakthrough, so it makes total sense that this is going to be a 64 player server, even though featuring Breakthrough 128 on a limited time mode is something that I would love to see happen. Continuing on with the thread, Battlefield Direct.com then tweeted, to help you get the most out of Breakthrough, this week's missions have challenges catered to that mode. Find out in the image below from our weekly radar thread, which keeps track of all of the experiences taking place each week. And then they gave us this graphic for a full breakdown of this week's mission that we're going to talk about right now. So the graphic starts off by talking about all of the weekly missions that are available this week. The first one is 1500 damage inflicted with primary weapons, play 1 round of Breakthrough, and then get 3 kills with shotguns. And then we've got these missions that are available after 2 missions are completed, 8 objectives captured or rounds played, 10 squad mates revived or times revived by squad mates, and then get 1 multi-kill performed with any explosive. And then the last batch of missions that are available after 4 missions are completed, 50 teammates resupplied with ammo, 3 kills with melee weapons, and then 15 kills with SMGs or shotguns, and that is the bonus mission. So that's a pretty great lineup in terms of weekly missions. There's a lot of variety, which I really do appreciate, as well as a lot of the missions are tailored to improving squad play, which is always a plus. Battlefield Direct Communication then tweeted out saying, we'll continue to assess community feedback and the reception of these changes throughout this weekend, and we'll be back at the start of next week with any additional plans we have to share around our ongoing All Out Warfare playlist. Next up, I want to talk about a tweet from the Battlefield account, and this was as reported by Battlefield Bulletin. So huge shout out to them. You guys can go follow them on Twitter at their Twitter account that's on screen right now. But they basically tweeted out, EA Dice has revealed a heat map illustrating the hotspots for the exposure map, and this was based on 10 million player positions. The command center is by far the most hotspot, followed by the mountain complex and the mission operations and Black Ridge. Next up, I've got another tweet from Battlefield Bulletin that I want to talk about, but they tweeted out 2 community suggestions have been forwarded to the Battlefield 2042 team. First up, we've got a pop-up HUD icon that lets you know if enemy explosive projectiles have been taken down while using Irish's APS-36 shoot-down sentinel specialty. And the next suggestion is the ability to change Liz's missile crosshair color. Next up, I got a tweet that I want to talk about regarding clarification of something that I said in my last video, and this was in regards to community feedback and how it's handled by DICE. This was in regards to community requested features that I wasn't sure if they were actually forwarded to the team or if the community requests that they forwarded were the first time that they heard about it, but I'm happy to report that that is not indeed the case. According to Stratford, the community manager, he said, what I forwarded is a specific image. Since this is going around as a letter to the team, the included feedback itself is not at all new to the team, which is very good news. And huge shout out to BF Bulletin. They actually reached out to me in DMs and told me this information from Stratford, and I did have a feeling that this was the case, but I wasn't 100% sure, and I'm glad that we got further clarification regarding the feedback that Stratford sent to the team. So once again, thank you to BF Bulletin for actually DMing me this information. Huge shout out to them. Definitely go check out their Twitter. If you guys like to see live updates regarding Battlefield 2042 and the franchise as a whole, definitely check them out on Twitter. And a big thank you to the community manager Stratford86 24/7 for confirming this information and giving more clarification on what they actually sent to the team. Moving right along, we've got to talk about an update that was just deployed for Battlefield 2042, and that is in regards to Sundance's scatter grenade. According to Battlefield.com, they tweeted out something that we've seen from the last week's update is that Sundance's scatter grenade is too strong. The design of this grenade is as much aerial denial as it is offense. We've just deployed a change that increases the fragmentation detonation range that practically doubled all of the values of the actual detonation range. So I'll be curious to see how this actually affects the gameplay for Sundance's grenade. I'll be sure to test it out and report back my findings in the next video. Moving right along, I've got another tweet from Battlefield Bulletin that we got to talk about, and this is in regards to the Battle Pass. They actually gave us a news roundup, so shout out to them. But essentially what is happening is they're discussing the Battle Pass and how things are being discussed, as well as the difficulty and the completion rate for some of the weekly missions. So what they tweeted out is variable XP requirements are being discussed internally. Weekly missions completion rate / difficulty is also being reviewed. The in-game store for Battlefield 2042 will soon be receiving new updates, and the season 1 badge progression bug is still being looked at. According to a Twitter thread from Lex_mate, when asked about the completion rate for the weekly mission, they actually stated that we'll be reviewing the data on completion rate during this week when we're back in the office, but I hope you'll find things get more challenging as the weeks go on. Good to know how quickly you've completed this week's though. Definitely something we will be discussing. When asked about the mandatory mention on the variable XP recs, Alexi replied, "We're discussing internally. We've got a lot of data to sift through to see how we feel about the balance, and we'll have more as the week goes on." So overall, I feel like Battlefield 2042 Season 1 0 Hour is in a pretty good state. I like how the weekly missions are currently set up, although I do agree that some of them are pretty easy to actually unlock, but it's not really supposed to be super difficult. But I am definitely looking forward to seeing how they actually improve the difficulty throughout the next few weeks. Overall, I've actually been having a great time on 2042. It actually feels great to play the game, especially with the addition of the new map. I cannot wait to jump into Breakthrough 24/7. I feel like that limited time mode is what's going to get the addiction really ramping up for 2042 again. My only suggestion is they continue to try to get us new content added to the game, make the weekly missions interesting. This is a really solid baseline for how things should continue to improve throughout the game's life cycle, and I hope that whatever the developers are doing with Season 2, they just give us more of the content that they pushed out with Season 1. I am still cautiously optimistic. I don't know if this is going to last. Maybe we're still in the honeymoon period with the new map and just experiencing all of its glory. So things definitely could change really quick, but either way, I'm having a good time. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below, guys. Do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel with your notifications on. And if you guys enjoyed this video and you want to stay up to date with all things new in gaming and Battlefield 2042 and just general FPS news, be sure to check back on the channel tomorrow for another video like this one.